Sasquatch are like people. They all have different personalities and they have different likes and dislikes. But I feel like I know they've interacted with marbles with lots of people and also crystals. And I would suggest anything that's not going to be harmful in nature. You know, marbles made out of glass, it's not going to hurt anything. Rocks, you know, crystals, those sorts of things. And if anybody else has an experience with different things, please feel free to share. I first started my gifting place, and it was behind a tree in a very busy place, and I could go in there. You know, I could kind of check because there were corners on each side, and I could see no one's coming, and I could run in there and put something down. It was hard to get into. You had to really duck to get in there, so I knew, you know, it wasn't something most people are going to be doing. And they're usually talking to each other when they're walking. So anyway, I put this, you know, whatever I put down there. And then I thought, you know, next time I come, I'm going to put something underneath it, because the place I was putting things got worn down and it was ending up getting pretty much on the dirt. And I thought, no, I don't want to put it on the dirt. I want to put it on something. So I brought an oak leaf, which you don't see much around here. It's not native to BC. So if you see them, they're planted. They're not indigenous. So I put the oak leaf down. We have this huge oak tree in our front yard. And that night, I decided I was going to stay late there with my friends. So we came in after the park closed with our blankets and everything. And it was June. It's a wetland, so it was really cold. And we're sitting there talking, and I go over to check it because I heard something. And sure enough, they'd taken this leaf out. And so I thought, they're interested in the leaf? That's strange. So I kept bringing leaves back. And all the leaves I brought, they took them all. So I just kept bringing piles of these leaves, and they just kept taking them. And it wasn't making any sense to me. Why are they taking these leaves? You can't chew them. Well, you can, but they're really hard, and they're sharp. You know, they contain a lot of tannins, so not tasty. You wouldn't use them for food or anything like that. You never hear of people making oak leaf tea or, you know, no one seems to use them for anything. But so then it came down to the consciousness. So the consciousness that's in those leaves is interesting to them. So they're getting the consciousness of the tree from those leaves while they're still alive. Because I tried putting dried ones there, they didn't want anything to do with them. So things from other places. I've also brought bark from arbutus trees on the islands here. I live in British Columbia, close to Vancouver. And on the islands there, we have arbutus trees, and they don't grow on the mainland per se. Maybe there's the odd one right close to the water. And the bark peels, and they're really beautiful, and there's orange underneath the bark. So I brought some bark, and they like that too. So and again, it's trial and error, because they're all so different, similar but different, kind of like us. But things from nature, I think they really like that. And you can also, if there's a glyph out there, you can add something to the glyph. You know, add a stick or add a marble or add a leaf or something, and see what happens if they change it again. Or leave a glyph. Make up your own glyph. Put an intention into it, and then come back and see if they've changed it, because they'll often do that. That's a fun way to do things too. Wherever you go, if you have the intention to connect with them before you go there, I feel like one of two things happens. They'll either sense it, or the ones that you're communicating with will tell the other ones, this person's coming. They're looking to connect with you. So, you know, let's send someone forward to volunteer to do that. And so you can get connections with them anywhere. And there are a lot of people that have connections with them in lots of different places, not just one place. So once you're sort of, it's almost like a telephone line. Once you're connected is a good word. Once the operator has connected you, then you can continue to cultivate relationships in different places. I think that's a great idea. I'd love to hear how that goes. So whereabouts are you going exactly?
Um, I'm starting out in Boston and I'm doing a road trip down to like Maryland and like the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. Do like a lot of hiking and stuff in nature too.
That's awesome. Yeah, so that's always ideal. Being in nature is always ideal. You know, being able to cultivate it other places other than where you are. Because I think I was saying last week, if some people miss this, they are in cities. Well, obviously, Paula, you're connecting with them in a city, but they're in the green spaces. They travel through the green spaces in the different cities. So you can go to green spaces in any city and find structures, glyphs, all the same things that you'd find, especially if it's a foresty park or lots of vegetation. You know, they can see your effort in trying to connect with them. And I think that's part of it. They see your effort and they also see your determination. You know, they watch to see how determined you are. Um, yeah, and other people, it'll just happen because there's a reason for that. So it's going to be a little different for everybody, similar but different. You'll all have your own flavor of how that goes.